Just mind their business. That was the first thing I was making emphasis on. Because I don't understand how something happened in Uromi and you, that's an Igbo person, is there saying that they should do what they like on a space. Say me they do what they like. Nobody they fear them. I will not call the names of the persons. You get? How is this matter our business? I keep saying this thing. Look at different accounts. I feel so bad, man. I won't lie. Different accounts that have made it their hobby to insult Igbo people. They don't just insult Igbo people, they denigrate Igbo people. They try to create division among the Igbo race. They will say this one is Igbo, this one is not Igbo. Onyebu Igbo, the other person is not Igbo. Do you know when last I've heard, in a very, very long time, the word Southern Nigeria? Do you know when last I've heard it? The only thing that they hear now South, East, Southwest. I don't understand what is wrong with most of these accounts. Yes, I understand that if something is wrong, it should be condemned, because these atrocities that are happening not just the South, it's in the Southwest, it's in the South. You get? But when this problem was happening in Enugu State, how many of these accounts spoke out for us?
My brother, I was even sure, even people, characters like Abe Governor was almost as if your enemy be inside with you.
When hustling, when problem don't come, man, there's something you need to understand about these people. When there is problem, it is then that they will discover that the Igbo race is actually strong. You understand? That they can hide under the Igbo race. You understand? Because it's a strong body. But our people don't even understand the strength we have. Our strength should only be used to defend ourselves, nothing else. We already tried this method of carrying everybody along, and it brought betrayal. I'm sure every Igbo person know the history, their own history. When the going get tough, they betray us.
Is it me that is dropping because I brought up somebody? I can't see him in speaker session. What is happening?
That's in this thing. You who you bring up?
And I forgot there was someone I just brought up. But
Go begin.
Anyway, go.
Then they will remember.
Sorry, no, just 10 seconds, please. Have you not seen the sinister motive behind sitting in Benin or in Uromi and doubling down and telling the Northerners that they cannot do anything, that if they move mad, something will happen to them? Don't you think that the people who are calling for this, who are doing these things, are deliberately trying to incite the Northerners? Knowing fully well that, say, if we stop today, this same Northerner will profile every single person there, you understand? And then the people of your own people will bear the brunt of all these things. Don't you people see the deliberate attempts to incite them, so that at the end of the day, the victims of all this whole thing will end up being you? Because I keep saying this thing that people are coming up here to tell me that because they're not profiles, we should also profile. All of a sudden, we are all Southerners. Wake up tomorrow and tell him that so there are some Igbos that live in Edo State. They will jump down your throat and tell you that there are basically no Igbos that exist there. Somebody will come up and tell that in the whole of River State there's no Igbo there. They will understand diversity the moment it is to their own favor. But when it is to unite, when a Saladon boss, which we say are then cause themselves, and they want to go against them, they hide under the banner of we are all Southerners. And then that's
why the whole was leveled, because someone from Midwestern conducted a coup in 1966. I mean, very.
Afonso, this particular thing you're talking about is common knowledge. I'm sure everybody on this space knows about it, and I'm seeing a kind of repetition, a kind of small.
And they want to repeat it before our own eyes.
See, nobody will use the blood. I keep saying it. If there's anything, I'm an Igbo man first before anything else in this world. I'm an Igbo man first before anything else in this world. You get? When these accounts are doubling, nobody go use the blood of my people to do experiments. See, we not talk say if something's up, we know if we do something. No. You understand? It is common knowledge that in the Igbo race, we are not cowards.
Yeah, money. Anybody where they say make something so, my one see I'm inside. Like start
Why,
taking.
Alfonso? Why is
When they do
somebody,
space, they
Alfonso?
tell me
Why is
anything.
somebody from Uromi? Why is somebody from Benin saying that they should do
Why
their
person
wars?
go
Why
dey
are you saying
why
something
person
like
go
that?
dey live for US? Why person go dey live for UK? They live for Italy. They shout say they go do this, they go do this. Make it come down here so that if na arrest, they don't arrest them. People go they contribute money, whether they go fee bail and they go fee charge and go court. And that kind of thing they take serious. All this kind nonsensical thing. I mean, this thing na reality. People they die, they think say na Game of Thrones they play. I mean,
See, as long
say
as Alfonso, as long as it's this their nonsense what they want doing, if they want do them, I don't want as not be said like I dey give straight one. In fact, I go start to dey block people now. I go just insult you. I go just block you. In fact, which I'll just dey do now. You'll see all these accounts. They'll come outside. They say Southern leaders. What are Southern? Nigga, correct these people. Which one be Southern leaders? When have an Edo man ever come outside and say Southern leader? Now only these past few weeks I dey see am for my life. Oh, when have they come outside and say Southern leaders? They either call their leaders or they say South. Why are they trying to make this a Southern issue? And they're trying to bait you. They are saying the Yorubas are not involving themselves in this thing, that their cow. That no concern me, bro. That no concern me. I not be small picking where we say you go bait. I not be small picking. We not be small children where we say you go bait. We have our people living there. A lot of them doing business there. In fact, I've come to the conclusion at this point that there is nothing, even though you tell them to come back, most of our people have a lot of investment there. They will lose a lot because obviously they are businessmen, they are middlemen in everything they do. And you will be say your people know they travel. Either your people stay in Edo State or they stay in Lagos. I think that is the only two places I've seen most Edo people do. Either they stay in Lagos or they stay in Edo State, or they travel outside the country. You are declaring war. You guys a minority. You are asking for combat. You that is a minority. These people, Alfonso, I don't understand. These people get sense.
So I also want to encourage the Northerners, and not at this time, in the case they want to retaliate, they know where the location is.
They should know where the location is.
They should take it down to that place. They want to finish themselves so that we know what you're facing here. I mean,
Because
this type of
Let me come in at this point.
okay, Mr. Budget.
I've listened to everybody that spoke from across board, and before the last space ended, the speaker that was speaking are people that we know are being sent by some elements to cause chaos, divide and distract Nigerians. He came blatantly lying, like we don't know what is happening in Nigeria, like we don't know how they are trying to incite Nigerians against each other so that they can destabilize the country. And he was calling places, calling the north, and intentionally saying hunters were killed here, hunters were killed in Katana, hunters were killed in Kebi and all that. The hunters have been the one helping the average citizens in the north. And it's the fact that most Nigerians don't even understand what is going on in their country. For someone that has dealt with security issues across this country and with the security forces and have gotten to get a security structure that works for Nigeria, even though we have a government that is not ready to end insecurity in Nigeria, the truth of the matter is this insecurity that is going on has been engineered to be so. Because we keep telling ourselves, okay, we have oil and all these issues. Nigeria is focusing on oil. One of our biggest resources for Nigeria is our natural resources. Mainly in the north, many northerners, the people that have died in this country, majority of the people that have died in this country, over 80% are from the north. In the rural areas, you can't count how many villages have been wiped out because of insecurity. But because of people are down or they tend to, whether intentionally or unintentionally, be blinded by the hate they carry in their hearts or rather they just don't have the intellect to understand what is from their right and what is from their left. And they will tell you, no, the northerners have been coming, herdsmen are coming, Fulani herdsmen are coming to kill their people in the south. Northerners are dying like flies in the north. That is why when we speak, those of us that understand the security situation in the country, when we speak of securing Nigeria as a whole. It's not about north, south. If you are thinking of security and you are thinking about south, north, then you don't even know what is going on. And you will not know what hits you until it hits you. All of us are victims of a failed government. The better you understand that and let that sink into your skull. We are all victims. We are all victims. The north, the south, the east, the west, we are all victims. Nigerians, average Nigerians are all victims. We have a Korean cannot even be safe in his own country. People are being kidnapped on a regular basis. People are being maimed, killed, with no accountability whatsoever. And someone's small thinking is just about, oh, they are coming to kill my people. You can channel your anger to your fellow man that is suffering as you, but you cannot channel your anger to the person that is promoting that killing, the person that is responsible for securing you, the person that you gave the mandate, that it is his primary responsibility to secure you. A lot of Nigerians, we even ask them, they don't even know what is written in their constitution. They don't even know their rights. In the constitution, if you go on, the primary responsibility of this government that we have, the welfare and the security of lives and property, that is, if the government cannot do those simple things, you know, when they say primary, secondary, you don't even get to secondary school. Primary responsibility is securing the people. And the government has failed and failed woefully time and time again. And you cannot hold that government responsible. You are going to fight your fellow oppressed. While your oppressor is there moving freely. And in fact, if you see your oppressor, you'll be there raising hand and be hailing your oppressor. And we have seen enough. They come and divide the heads of Nigerians, distract you people with unnecessary things. You are here fighting. This one is a southerner, this one is a northerner, this one is an easterner, this one is a westerner. You are fighting each other. And the politicians and those that have their hand in this situation we find ourselves are busy laughing. They are busy laughing because they know the situation they put you people in. The north, as I speak to you currently, this south is even safer than a lot of places in the north. Far safer. And we are here, we have a situation that has happened. Instead of us to look at the government that has failed to make sure that there are people that will be accountable for their acts of terror in this country, that no Nigerian life will be lost without someone being held accountable for that life. You forget that you have a government, which is why they have killed the educational sector. Because basic education, some people think that it's just about carrying qualification and papers all around. Have an education that you know your country. You know what is happening around your country. You know the history of your country. You know the cultural values, the differences of your people, so that you can understand yourself. Some people say, no, separate the country. This one is the north that is our problem. Is the south our problem. I tell even those that have that kind of stupid thinking in the north, I don't spare anybody when it comes to saying the truth as it is. No matter how you look at it, we are better together. The problem we have are leaders that don't have the interests of the country and even the people at heart. The so-called North, don't they have leadership in the government? Are they not killing their people? The South, don't they have leadership in the government? I don't know, all of them, when it comes to eating the resources and the national cake of the country, are they not eating it all together? Or have you seen any politician that comes from any region of this country or the Senate or wherever, that you pay him and he says, no, I don't want. It's not right. Or that something is going on that is great injustice to his people and he speaks up. They all benefit from Nigeria not working. And the sooner you understand that it is the people against the government, the better it will be for you. Because I had the previous speaker before the last speaker saying it is north and south. Look at how they have brainwashed and demeaning his sense of understanding and thinking. How is the person that you are both suffering with, you both go to the same market, you are both suffering from insecurity, you are both suffering from lack of basic amenities in your country, but that is the person that you think is your problem? How can you, sometimes I know we are all victims, but it still baffles me that people on their own, they come here. For at least for you to be able to be here, you should have a level of self-thinking to understand the reality put in front of you. And even if the government does not give you that avenue, you should be able to go and think for yourself. You should be able to have critical thinking. You should be able to research for yourself. You should be able to understand what is going on for yourself. Not that someone told me this, someone told me that. And you are coming here to defend and say nonsense. So what have you researched for yourself? What have you understood for yourself? We need to start taking ourselves seriously. That is why we're in a democracy, if we can call it that. Because currently it's demonstration of grace. But in a situation whereby we say, yes, we're in democracy, then we should be able to demand collectively. And it is this division and lack of understanding from even the citizens that has made you have a government that does not even fear you, because they know that all they can do when you start making noise is to just make you start fighting within yourself, and you forget that they are your problem. It's actually funny. It's funny. There are grown men and women in a country that they say they are educated, that they know what they are doing, allow themselves to be played like puppets. These people now, these hunters that you are talking, what predominantly, even before our independence, before they colonized us and everything, what was predominantly our profession in the so-called region called Nigeria? We were predominantly farmers and hunters. That was how we survived. I personally was fortunate to have been able to go to a lot of bushes to hunt from a very young age in this country, to understand the kind of struggles and the kind of life my ancestors lived. I've been fortunate to go to be at least in 29 states physically, down to grassroots areas, not just someone is telling me this or I'm reading in a book. I have gone to states to see what my country is all about, to understand the cultures in my country. And Nigerians are actually hospitable, good, loving people, deep down. But the level at which they have been able to allow themselves to be manipulated. In this same constitution that we have that binds us together as a nation, the objective written there for education, free education, primary, secondary, up to tertiary level, the responsibility of the government. Which one of you here can tell me that his senator or his House of Reps has moved for that to happen, whether from north, south, east, and west? Which one of you here can tell me that and show me which senator or House of Representatives or which president have we had that have done that since we got back to democracy? These are our issues. These are our issues.
Mr. Budget, can I ask you a very quick question, if you don't mind?
I'm listening.
Okay, thank you so much. Which state are you from? I hope you don't mind.
I'm from Niger State.
Okay. Uh,
What is your opinion regarding this herdsmen issue? What do you think should be done to solve it? People have said that herdsmen should ranch their cattle and stop moving cattle from east to west or west to south, whatever. Do you think that is a good solution?
Okay, if it comes to the herdsmen situation, and you see where we also get it wrong is, yes, there are in every society, in every organization, every set of coming together of people or entity, there are always good and bad eggs. That is undisputable. One. Two, you see these herdsmen issues. There are more criminals and terrorists that infiltrate and work in the name of being herdsmen than the true herdsmen themselves. And these are narratives that have been created and pushed by elements that do not have the interests of this country at heart. And these are things we have been speaking on for a while now. And which is why we have told the government, if you are actually serious or you are actually interested in ending this insecurity, flush our forest bodies, because they know that they have their people in there that are being, either they will come and attack and they'll say herdsmen, they'll come and attack, they'll say bandits, they'll come and attack, they'll say unknown gunmen or unknown non-men, or wherever you put it and categorization you put it. Flush and make a unitary system of security. Our security structure now is nothing to write home about. We practically have a reactive security structure, which we have told the government it cannot work. Our security structure must be proactive and reactive if necessary. But that lack of proactive security structure on ground is part of what is killing us. And it plays down to the government. If you know how much Nigeria loses yearly on this insecurity, especially in the north, with our natural resources stolen, the gold, the jewels that could be used to build this country are being stolen by the government and elements outside the country. But that is why they will now tell you, no, the herdsmen are predominantly this. The northerners that they are being killed, even those in Plateau, in Niger, in Benue, and all these places, it is still those criminal elements and terrorists. And we have told the government, brand these people terrorists. They are terrorists because they are your terrorists. You promote them, you arm them, you send them to kill Nigerians. But they will not do that because it is not in their own interests. It is they rather leave it so that they can blame and say it is the Fulani man, so that or the Fulani man. I'm not saying they are not Fulani criminals, don't get me wrong, or Fulani terrorists, part of the government's list. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is those that predominantly go and kill indiscriminately our people, Nigerians, that it is unacceptable that any Nigerian should be killed in this country and there are no repercussions. It is unacceptable.
Mr. Budget, thank you, but I don't know. You didn't really address my question. Why is it that, let's even assume that people are labeling Fulani herdsmen criminals, erroneous, like, let's even assume this is an error. Let's just assume. Uh, is cattle rearing a private business?
This is something that our ancestors have done for ages.
No,
It
I'm
is
just
a
asking.
business.
Okay.
It's not even a business, it is a profession.
Yeah, but is it a private, like, is this a private enterprise?
They are private and they are public. There are people that buy and give them to rear. There are people that
You,
rear it themselves, like the Fulani
you don't
this thing, they rear
understand the
themselves.
question. Like, is this a business somebody does for himself, like to make profit for his or herself? That is that is a private business, right?
That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
is.
So cattle rearing is not. They are not rearing the cattle on behalf of, let's say, like the government is in trust for the citizen. So the cattle rearers are not rearing for us. They are rearing the cattle for themselves to feed themselves and their families and things like that, right?
They rear them for the country, because the same cow that you eat in the south, do you think they germinate from the ground?
No, but
Of course, it's for the country. All these cows, like now, personally, I have 100 and something cows. I can decide to say, sell me 10 and bring me the money, and I'm not the one going around to rear them.
Okay, the question:
you on your own self. I know southern friends. I have Igbo friends that have cows, thousands of cows in this country. What are you saying? So you cannot kill the profession that
you don't
people are
understand my
benefiting
question.
from it.
I think budget. His question is actually very simple and straightforward. Is
Yes.
it a private business or a business, a national business? That's just what he's asking.
It is both. It is both. That is what I want him to understand.
It can't be
So,
both. It cannot be both. It has to be either a public business, which the revenue goes to the state and distributed amongst the states, all the states, or it is a private business whereby the revenue goes to the owner of the business. Which one is it?
It goes to the owner of the business, of course.
So it is a private business then. That's that's just what I wanted. So this is a private business, right? Now, why is it that the Fulani herdsmen do not want to ranch their cattle? Why?
Because it is predominantly their culture. Just as you, as an Igbo man, now you can decide to tell me that this is your culture, and this is what you do as an Igbo man. I can't come and tell you that you don't do it. If I come to Igbo land, I respect people's culture. And these people, let me tell you something now. You see,
so we should respect their culture to be using cows.
Alfonso, let me just learn. Let me say this. You get this same issue we discussed in the I think last two conferences we went to. And the thing is, when you have a structure in place and we have spoken with the government time and time again, they're just not interested. Because if you put it in place, and before, when our ancestors normally they have cattle routes that they go through across this country up to the other countries around us before Nigeria came into place. And they existed even when Nigeria came into place, and until they started using this insecurity issue to destabilize the country. So, if the government is actually serious and they actually want to checkmate this is what I want you to understand, and they actually want to checkmate this thing, it is not a problem. But they rather leave
budget. Sorry, budget. Can I engage my brother? Just a couple of questions, so we are clear on this.
Yeah.
Do you believe in indigenous ownership of land in Nigeria as it stands?
Why not? But
okay.
Also,
So
I also believe that every Nigerian has the right to live across the country.
Yes, you don't. I don't say you don't know where to go, but you haven't even allowed me land. But you believe in indigenous ownership of land. That is fine. The Constitution actually grants the rights to every Nigerian to move around, and those must be natural-born citizens of this country, and those must be humans. That is number one. Number two, the Constitution also only gives you, there's a caveat to that right, the right to move around and do business legally. Now, if you believe in indigenous ownership of land in the country, which actually is how it is in Nigeria according to the Constitution of the country, you will agree with me that when the cattle take that grazing route, they will be passing through indigenous lands that are owned by indigenous people, right? We agree with me on that.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, you wanted to say something?
No, I wanted you to finish up so that I would take
Okay. So you agree with me that, so in the course of them going through the indigenous land, right, they may encroach on people's land. It becomes a problem. We agree with me that it becomes a problem because at that particular point in time, they are now overstepping their own rights and now stepping on somebody else's rights. Because the same laws that cover, the right of the Fulani herdsmen to rear their cattle in peace also covers the right of the farmers and indigenous people to cultivate on their own land. without any what do you call it, disruption, so to say. So
100%.
yes, so if we now say that that herdsmen can pass through indigenous through a grazing route, that route they are passing through, who owns the route? Is it through the the land of the indigenous people that they are going to pass through? Or are you saying that there is a designated federal route that belongs to the federal government that they can only pass through? And if that is the case, have the herdsmen so far been passing only through the designated routes, grazing routes, as marked out by the federal government?
Okay, so I think if you had me earlier, I said those routes were gone because of even the herdsmen. Some of them have also been victims of the insecurity that we are all shouting of, the killings that we are all shouting of. It's not just you that you are in fact, those in the rural areas are more of victims of these killings, but you have no idea because you are in the urban cities, and there is no coverage of what goes on to our people in the rural areas across the country. It does not matter whether it's north, south, east, west. Across the country, the people in the rural areas suffer more, and there is no voice to bring out what they are dealing with. That is one. Two, they have to abandon most of those things, even though that yes, the government has not really enforced how it should work. You see, these are all leading to the failure of the government. And then when they used to follow these cattle routes, there used to be water bodies where these people carry their cows and go, they drink water, and also they hardly even encroach into the main cities as they do currently. But we have a situation now where those water bodies now are where bandits, so-called bandits, which I know they are terrorists, there is nothing like bandits, terrorist elements and criminals have occupied, and the government knows about all these things, but they are not doing anything about it. They are not doing anything about it. The government knows these people are here. We have had a lot of situations where reports get that, okay, there are certain people here, they know that they are terrorists, but you will never see any government reaction on those people. And these people are the ones causing chaos. And of course, as the Fulani man, he will also want to have a kind of security. He won't go to where he's also going to be killed. They have their cattle rustled from them. They have their cattle and their life in danger. So they encroach more as time went on with this insecurity over the decade. They encroached more into the cities. This is the situation we find ourselves. It all boils down to the lack of good governance, failed governance by those that have been elected into positions of power to deal with all these issues. So if you are trying to blame someone that is also suffering as you because of the lack of the person that is supposed to lead you, is supposed to be a visionary to give you direction, and that person has failed, then you're actually channeling your energy to the wrong cause. If, as a country today, Nigerians should rise and face the government, this must be done. Security, if we just deal with this security issue, get them back to their normal routes, their water bodies, which are practically non-existent for them again.
Okay,
So,
Mr. Budget, very quickly.
yes,
Yeah, you said this is your culture. Now, okay, it can be
I didn't
accepted.
say this is my culture.
This is
I
the
said their
Fulani
culture.
culture.
I'm a
Okay,
Nupe
sorry,
man by tribe. Yeah, don't
sorry,
just
sorry.
see me.
This is
I'm
the
wearing cap.
Fulani. Yeah, this is the Fulani
Uh-huh.
culture. Sorry. Now let's assume so. I have a culture that says I can cut off your head. An example, just an example. Um,
Yeah, I know.
are you going to respect this culture if I leave my home wherever I'm from and then come to your home to practice this culture? Would you in any circumstance accept this culture?
Okay, one, your question is twisted, because if you are leaving your own place to come to my own place to exercise your culture, if you are coming to my own place, it means you have to dance to the tune of my culture, just as I'm
Okay.
going to yours. That is one. Two. Number two, of course, any culture that is talking of killing another distinct is practically unacceptable because we are living in a country that has rules and regulations, and so it is supposed to protect the lives and property of that country. So bringing up something about killing
Uh,
is totally not even in context. That is
uh,
two. Three.
okay.
Three. Let me land. You asked
All
your
right.
question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Three. You see, this thing about culture is your way of life is practically what we talk of. The eating, the drinking, the music, the dressing, and all that. These people are nomadic in nature. They are people that move around in nature. If you know that, see, these are, you see, the problem with this thing is we go to other countries. You see people they go to this country, they go for tourism. They appreciate their nomadic kind of lifestyle. The like, if you see people going to Dubai today, going to the desert, going to see how the camels used to migrate from, these are centuries of generational cultures that people go to other
But
countries to go
budget,
and
budget.
let me
Be
land,
aware.
please. Let me
Sorry,
land.
budget. Just a
I
quick
allowed
question.
you land. I
All right,
allowed
go
you
ahead,
land.
go
Let me
ahead,
land.
go ahead.
You get. And we are here. Instead of us to make laws, see, we must. There is no way that we can all be the same. There is even in your house, you and your brother or your father cannot agree on the same thing. All your fingers are not equal. There is a reason why God made us different so that we can understand ourselves, tolerate ourselves, and live together. So you cannot, as long as it is not harming you, it is not making you this thing, not live your life as you should, then you don't have a problem with anybody's culture. No matter what, I try to be accommodating to every. I don't have to agree with the culture, but I accommodate it and tolerate it because I know it is necessary for us to understand our differences,
Okay,
appreciate
budget.
our
Let
differences
me
to live
engage you.
together.
Sorry, so we make it interactive. So what I wanted to ask you is this: you've spoken a lot about culture. That it is their culture and everything. But are you aware that many civilizations, many nations had to alter their culture and adjust their culture to be in tune with what is obtainable with the 21st century, most especially in the areas of human rights and other things. So why, I want to ask, is it not possible for the headers to adopt a new culture? Understanding that let's say Nigeria of 1920 is not the Nigeria of today. In 1920, I don't think we are up to 30 million. So it was much rarer for you to, come across people that will complain extensively because of, encroachment on their land. Today, that is not the case. Many of these places have been inhabited, right? Or the lands owned by people or cultivated. So don't you think that it will be okay for the herdsmen to adjust their culture and adopt a more, up-to-date, conventional way of doing things today than actually sticking to that same old age-long tradition of maybe 500, 600, 800, 1,000 years ago? Say, oh, I must stick to this thing. Don't you think that this will be leading to conflict? That's the question I have for you.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, but you see, when you look at it holistically, then you must also put all the variables in place and look at all the indices in play. Yes, cultures have evolved, cultures have changed, but predominantly, that was why I said on this thing, they are nomadic people that move around, the Fulanis. They are not people that stay in one place. You get, they are not people that stay in one place. So, what we have even suggested to the government ever since, if once we have this security in check, everybody in our bushes, we can't have anybody in our bush that is not recognized, that is not carrying an ID card for identification, which makes it easier to identify if anybody is liable to or has done any crime, and the person can be held accountable. So you must, as much as you want to bring in things, the government, what has the government done? Because all these things you have said, you have not said of what the government has done to make sure that everybody's this thing is protected, everybody's right is protected. Rather, they leave that open opportunity for crisis to happen so that they can capitalize and use them to their advantage. That is what I want you to understand. So I'm not saying cultures cannot change. Cultures have changed over the years. If you look at not even in Nigeria, across the world, there are a lot of cultures that have changed. But we should not forget that irrespective of that happens, there are some things that you can still preserve. We have countries today that they are preserving the culture that they have been scared of losing. So you now trying to eradicate the nomadic lifestyle of the Fulani entirely should even be criminal. Any
Okay.
government that tries to
Mr.
bring
Um,
people
Budget,
to the
wait.
bush,
Dexy, let me ask him this question. Or
That's
you guys have
actually
been asking.
weird.
Dexy, sorry, Budget. Do you not feel like the people saying that they don't want people in their bushes, they don't want people in their bushes because obviously there are people coming outside from those bushes, killing them, killing the villagers. Don't you think the villagers, the people in this particular region, have the right to say they no longer want these people in their bushes anymore? You get that they want them to go to their. I understand that you guys are nomadic, you get, but I'm sure that there are bushes in like the places
we
that.
understand that they are nomadic. They are
Yes, yes,
nomadic.
yes. I understand that they are nomadic, but now they are saying that this nomadic nature of these headers, you understand, is causing harm to their lives, and properties in that particular region. So don't you feel like it is right? hmm? Don't you feel like it is in their right for them to say they don't want these people in their butches anymore, that they have used this opportunity to commit enough harm to them? Don't you feel that?
As I said, from your question, I think it should be clear that you are still talking about the failure of the government to actually secure this country. And once you speak, because you must look at it and you must look at the situation we are in, and you understand that we are in a country that has a government and a government that has a responsibility. So you cannot bring up all these things and not bring up the failure of the government to actually do what is necessary and what it is being voted to do. If the people are saying that people are coming to kill them or coming from the bush, the bushes, in fact, land, if you are aware, all the land in this country belongs to the government. Any lease you get, highest 99 years is expired, you have to repay for it, that land, in this country as we speak. So it's not even as it used to be during our ancestors that once you have land, this is your land. If it's going to take 1,000 years, it's your land. We are living in a country that has laws, that has a constitution, that has rules and regulations. So all this points to the failure of the government. Do not forget that, and you can't remove that out of the equation, because that is the basics of where the problem comes from. The failure of the government to do its primary responsibility of securing its people, primary responsibility of bringing in rules and regulations, and not just bringing them, enforcing them to make sure that they work in the interest of all its people. No preferences of north, south, east, and west. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And every government that has been elected is elected for Nigerians, not for north or for south or for east or for west. And the
okay.
earlier we understand that, the better for us.
Okay. Very quickly, Mr. Budget. The government has come hard on some cultures. For example, FGM, female gender mutilation. For some people, it is their culture, right? There are also some cultures where human sacrifice was even acceptable. But I don't think any government right now would say, well, this is your culture, you can do it. Simply because this culture clash with what we now know shouldn't be. And then why is it that in this case you have a culture, we accept that this is your culture, but this is 2025 and this
They have
culture.
a culture. They have a culture. You don't. I'm told you,
Okay,
I'm
sorry,
not
I'm
Fulani.
not saying you. You don't understand.
Okay.
Like the
Okay.
Fulanis. Yeah, yeah, I'm not talking about you. Don't personify it. So the Fulanis have a culture, and this culture is clashing with other people's way of life in 2025. And it's not just an ordinary clash. Thousands of people have died as a result of this. Uh, why is it that the Fulani elite or even the leaders in the north are not saying to the Fulanis, you have to ranch your cattle? Uh, are we consuming more cattle than other countries that are ranching their cattle? why must we keep this culture alive as opposed to the lives of human beings? So
And what is the benefit of keeping the culture alive?
yeah. So is this culture more important? Is keeping this culture alive more important than the thousands, if not millions, of lives that we've lost as a result of the conflict that has arisen out of this clash of cultures? So go ahead.
And also, sorry, before he goes on, please, just a second before you go on. There's something you said here I feel is a little misconception. You said the Fulanese are nomadic people. That is not true. It is only the herders that are pastoral and nomadic. The Fulanese, as a group, are not nomadic. Because, when we say Fulanese, we always think that Fulanese are only concentrated in Nigeria. There is a very large concentration of Fulanese in Senegal, Mali, in Gambia, some other, even in Liberia and Sierra Leone. And
True.
most of these Fulanis are not nomadic. In fact, but just mute your mic for a second, I'll give you the mic. Most of them are not nomadic. They don't move from one place to the other. In fact, there was a news that we saw one time that some of the bandits who come into Nigeria to kidnap, when they finish kidnapping, they get ransom. They travel to places like Liberia and Sierra Leone and Mali, and they buy houses. Somebody has to live in those houses. That means they are sedentary. They are not nomadic. And again, the larger concentration of Fulanis is not in Nigeria. They're elsewhere. We have the Sereas and the Wolof. These are Fulani-related ethnic groups that are not nomadic. So I just want us to, not misconstrue something, because the people who are nomadic are the headers, not the Fulanis. But go ahead, Budget.
Yes, true. If we're speaking on Fulanis and headers, so if at a point in time I was speaking on Fulani and I missed it and said Fulani and nomadic this thing, then I think you can excuse my English at that period of time. But at least we all understand this, and clearly that Fulanis, even Hausas, Yorubas, they are also situated across Africa, not just in Nigeria. So back to the question he was saying. See, the thing is, it is always easy for one or any one of us, because that if there is anything I've understood from all my travels across this country, the rural areas, this thing, and meeting people, is how easily some people just like what's the best this thing to use? They become so. It's not. I don't think it's nonchalant. Nonchalant is not the word to use. Dismissive of other people's culture. You spoke earlier and you said female genital mutilation and all that. This is causing harm to another human being. And I said earlier, if you remember clearly, as long as you are not harming or killing or disrupting anybody's life whatsoever or that is not acceptable. You get. And when these things, even though yes, we're in the 21st century, there should be, how will I put it? There should have been a progressive means of government over the years, making sure that the routes were being widened, the water this thing that they normally take. Because one thing you have to understand, till today, the last this thing we went for cattle and all, they were talking of some of the best healthy cows normally come from this region, Nigerian cows, because these are cows that eat organic, purely organic. And one of the problems they are having, and cause of many diseases, heart disease and all these things, from the Western world of feeding the cows, as all this nonsense, this thing they feed them, is because they don't have that natural upbringing and exercises that these cows normally make. This is we can paint this thing. That's why I say we must understand our country, understand our cultures. I don't just understand my culture, I understand the Igbo culture, the Yoruba culture, the Hausa culture, because the thief culture, the man from Benue, if I don't understand them, how do I expect to live with them in the same country and live in peace and harmony? How do I expect to be tolerant of their, because not everybody will always make you happy. Even in your house, there are times whereby you have quarrels with this thing. But if there are lines being drawn of don't pass this thing, or there are consequences for doing this and doing that, and averagely, a Fulani man should not even have a decision of saying he wants to kill this thing. And that's why I said, if you understand the security problem we are having in this country, just as Grandmaster have said, people come from outside, how porous our borders are. Now, just imagine people are coming from outside, they kill your people, and you are blaming your fellow Fulani man that is also a victim of what is happening in your country. But you don't blame the government that has not been able to secure our borders, that have not been able to secure our country. See, we must look at this thing holistically. We must look at it holistically, look at the variables in play to understand our true situation. If you, maybe there will be a day we can all converse again to really talk of the security, because I have understood that a lot of people don't even understand the true nature of our security in this country. Right now, we have practically no security in this country. Anybody can come in, come out. Anybody can come and perpetrate any act of terror against Nigerians and leave unaccounted accounted for. Why should that be possible? It's the failure of the government. It is the failure of the government, and we have a government. Nigeria is looked at as a democracy. That's what binds us all together today. Of the people, for the people, by the people. But it is currently not happening. The democracy of Nigeria now is for a minority few. And if we cannot hold those minority few accountable for securing us, for our welfare, for the securing of our properties, then what are we doing?
Okay, Mr. Budget, very quickly, because you said here right now that if a culture causes harm, then there should be a need to either reform it or do something about it. As you already see, this Fulani culture is causing a lot of harms. Uh, Apart from the farmers being murdered every day, uh, it, we have so many. According to the terrorism watch index, the Fulani herdsmen militia, because they have a militia. Uh, they are the fourth largest uh, uh, terrorist group in the world. The Fulani herdsmen militia. Now, so if you have this problem where there are some Fulanis some Fulani herdsmen who are militia, who are also traveling uh, all around these bushes, and sometimes they cause problems. Why would somebody who wants this problem to be solved not proffer a solution like, say, okay, this is 2025. Some of you are very rich, and even some of your governors are very rich. Let them build large ranches and let many Fulanis occupy that ranches. Then the numbers of Fulanis who are roaming the bush will now be very few, and the fewer the numbers, the fewer the clashes, and the solution can easily be gotten. Why are many Fulanis against ranching their cattle if they don't have an ulterior aim of murdering people in their farms?
Okay, let me go by your analogy now. Fulanis are out to murder people, you say, because of they are moving around with their cattle. What they have taken as not just their culture, but their source of livelihood, their source of survival, as firstly, human beings. Human beings, their source of survival. Fine. Now we have a situation whereby people are agitating for their IPOP, they have been killing people. They come out, they say their IPOP, they are this thing. Should that mean that we should all associate and push the Igbos all to the southeast and stop them from going to anywhere? Because some people are, you see, when you generalize and try to criminalize a whole,
No,
wait,
no,
let me
no,
land,
no,
let me
no.
land.
Grandmaster,
Wait, let me land.
control the
Everybody,
space now. This guy is saying
I
something
listen
very,
to
very
everybody.
dangerous.
Yeah, just come in, Kezan. I listen to everybody, and when they ask me, I try to
No,
speak.
no, no. You are
Are you
making a
saying, wait
false
now, are you
equivalence.
saying that we should just construct the Igbos to just the
False
southeast
equivalence. Let
because
me
some
tell you
people
why.
in the Igbos
Let me
have
please
come
let
out to
me come
kill in
in.
the name of wait,
One
in the
minute,
name
But
of being Igbos? Is
wait,
that what you are
budget,
saying?
one
Is
minute,
that what you are saying?
No,
I'm
no,
using his
budget. I
analogy.
tried
He
to
asked
make
me
this
a
point.
question.
I tried to make this point to you. I said
Equivalence.
that this particular nomadic nature of these Fulani headers is causing harm to the people. You said government. I'm no, the government is not doing anything. We have come to understand that the government is not doing anything. You get now the people want to act by themselves. They are saying that they don't want these people anymore. You get it is okay for you to not agree to that or for you to say it is wrong. I understand your feeling, but now you are in another, how will I put it now? You are in another person indigenous land. Let me use that word. They are indigenous land. And them allowing these headers to come and do whatever they want to do. These people are not just killing them, they are raping their women, raping the mothers in those villages. Me personally, I don't feel it is wrong for them to say that they don't want it anymore. You get now you have seen that this culture, this thing you call culture, is harming the people of the south. Let me just use it in general, the south in general. It is harming the people
Don't
of the south.
generalize it out because you are trying to pull them into what they
Because
don't.
these attacks, it has happened in the southwest, it has happened in the southeast, and it has happened in the south. You get so now this thing has affected them, most of these remote villages in general. You understand? And they are saying that okay, we understand that you guys rare cattle and stuff. They are suggesting ranching, and I don't feel it's a bad idea. I don't feel it is a bad idea. You get? Can't this culture not be adjusted for them to start doing this ranching? You get what I'm trying to say? And you bringing the example of saying no, that if the Igbo culture is trading and this, no, you barely see, how will I put it now? I don't really want to go far because if I say what I want to say, it will
No
not like
need,
come
no
outside
need.
good. You
You
get?
have spoken. You caught me when I was speaking, so let me reply you
Okay.
amicably. You see, the thing is, when we speak, let's try to be open-minded and not be disingenuous in our thoughts and in our actions.
Please,
The same way.
please,
Before we
budget,
Kezan,
budget, please.
before you came, everybody respects
allow
everybody
him to
speaking.
speak.
Grandmaster, this guy is back here. Grand, if you are here, you can just look at Admira is back here.
Yeah, go ahead, budget.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Grandmaster has a question for you, Admira, so that's why
yeah.
I called
Yeah,
this.
well noted. Well
But
noted. I have a question for him too,
just
Alfonso. So
very quickly, budget.
it's good. Let me land,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. You will
You
learn.
asked, I have even answered your first
Yeah,
question.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
another
asking
person
you a
asked
question.
another one.
I'm not asking.
How many questions will I answer at once?
No, I'm
Let's
not
take this
asking you a
thing
question.
amicably.
Wait now. I'm not asking you a question. I'm
Please
just
let me
trying.
correct something. It's not a question, no. This is
Wait
not a question.
now.
This is
How
something I
many people will
observed.
speak at the same time? Wait, I'm not trying to ask you a question. I just want to correct something you said. I never said all the Fulanis are uh, uh, criminals or terrorists, or even all Fulani herdsmen are criminals or terrorists. I said that there is a publication, and I can post it on the Jumbo, that this is global terrorism index. They watch terrorists, or put uh, groups that are terrorists, and they clearly put the Fulani herdsmen militia. The Fulani herdsmen, they have a militia, and this militia as the fourth deadliest terrorist group in the world. So I was saying that if this is so, and we have seen this, why is it that the Fulanis are not ranching their cattle, unless they are trying to make the villagers believe that yes, we really want to murder you, that's why we don't want to ranch our cattle. So sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I understand all these things you are saying. This is something that it is my playing ground, the security of this country. So I'm not just talking because of I have nothing against any Fulani. I'm not Fulani. I have nothing against any Igbo. But I'm talking from someone that understands what our situation is. And when you gave that report, I was talking based on if we are going to go by what that report is saying. So you must understand, apart from our incapable and government that cannot even deliver on their primary mandate, there are outside forces that also play their role in how things go on in this Nigeria. The propaganda that is being pushed out from that, but I don't want to even dodge into that because we will leave what we are here to discuss of. So just as I was saying earlier, if by that analogy that let's say some of them are doing that, and because of that, you feel they should stop. And if you remember earlier when I started talking, more people have been killed even in the north in the name of them being Fulani herders. In the name, if you listen carefully, in the name, not that these are the people, because we know there are criminal elements. There are people that come from outside the country and perpetrate this. There are people that are being pushed, that are being funded and being, armed by even the government of of Nigeria, and they are there causing chaos. And all these things is to loot the resources, the natural resources Nigeria has. If you don't understand that analogy by now, then I don't think how I will break it down for you to understand. So if by that analogy you are saying because of this thing have been projected to do this, do that, then they should be ranched. I'm not saying ranching is bad. There are a lot of this thing if you can resource, but ranching needs resources. And you are saying personal individuals. These are personal people, that money that you are asking them to invest into it. These people are average Nigerians that don't have that resources. The only thing they have is their life and their cows. They eat from it, they live from it, and that is all. So the government, I've told you earlier, we have suggested this thing for the government because we are all for the interests of this country and the peace and unity of Nigeria. Sweep off the forests. We have lands across this country. The forest we have is enough for even to add more this thing and do and produce and export cows outside this country, export livestock outside this country. But it is not what the government is interested in. The insecurity you are currently seeing, if today, I can guarantee you, if you don't know, if today you think that it is by saying, okay, all Fulanis should stop going to, have you addressed the security issue? The people that are being funded that are still in the bushes, how do you do with them? So these are the things that you must look at. You have to understand your security situation. There are people that are being funded to disrupt the peace and harmony of this country. There are people that are being funded to make sure that they cause mayhem so that they can say it is religious crisis. And now, currently, there is one that we have been looking, the number one PR boy of the government, very dark man. I'm sure a lot of people don't know. And the part he played even in the last August 2024 protests, he played a part. And I've called him, he's now currently running outside the country. We don't see, it's not by coming to social media. What is on ground, your reality is your reality. You cannot sugarcoat it. You cannot change it by wishing it away. You must face it and tackle it. Tackle your root cause issues. And one of our root cause issues is the insecurity we have. And that insecurity only benefits who? The government of the day. The government, not you, not me, not the Hausa man, not the Yoruba man, not the Fulani man, not the herdsmen, it benefits a certain level of people. It benefits those outside the country that are looting our resources. The resources that would have been used to build this country, the resources that would have been used to give all Nigerians free education, to understand what is going on, the resources that would have been used to make life better for our people are being stolen on a daily basis. But if you are thinking at it and looking at it that you think that is the herdsman that is your issue, if the herdsmen today, I guarantee you, all of them are packed and kept in one place, this insecurity will go on because what their end goal is to steal your resources. So it's not going to stop them. But you have to understand this and you have to know this to actually make sure that this is what you are tackling. If you are not ready to tackle your government, to put your energy to make sure that your government does the right thing, to put your energy to make sure that this thing is done in the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians, then you are not ready for that change you are asking for. You are not ready. Before I come here and tell you this, I have this, I left this thing, I left here, even you can ask Alfonso, I had things I was doing, but I had to cut them short because I listened to this thing, and these are things that, conversations that we need to have as a people to understand our reality. I dropped everything to make sure that I am here so that we can rub minds as Nigerians, because we cannot go forward as individuals. We cannot go forward or say no as the Hausa man, or as the Yoruba man, or as the Igbo man, or as a Northern, or as a South. We must go together as a nation, as a country of people that want their best interest. They want a Nigeria that works for all of them. Just as much as you want your right to be protected, you should want the right of your neighbor protected. You should want the right of the northerner protected. You should want the right of the southerner protected. You should want the right of the easterner protected. You should want the right of the Nigerian citizen protected. But if you play and say, okay, no, because of, you see, today is the easterner that is being brutalized, and you keep quiet, or is the southerner that is being brutalized, you keep quiet because it has not touched you, until the day that it touches you, that you now come and want to now start raising voices to say, no, you are being marginalized, no, Nigeria has been rigged against you, and all that. These are the sensitization we should be having. By now, I look at the people on this page and on this space currently. These are men and women that have understanding by the looks that they should know better, that allow a government or a group of people or outside entity dictate to them how they should live in peace in their country, how they should build their country. And a people that should be able to stand by the rights that they deserve, by the right of their people. It is a very broad and deep conversation and topic, a conversation that we can't definitely have all in a day. But I want us to look at it from that side of this thing. If your neighbor is not secured and you think you are going to be secured, you are not ready. And same thing we have been telling the government. If one region of this country is not secured, then the other region is not secured, because once they are done with the other one, they move to the next one. Before APC came to power, was the insecurity that was being fueled was in the south, in northeast, sorry. And they allowed it to deteriorate, that now it has ravished the north central, it has ravished the northwest, it has ravished the south, southeast, and southwest. All these things plays to their role, it plays to their hands, it is in their interest.
Okay.
And if you cannot understand that, then you are practically where they want you.
Yeah, Mr. Budget. Thank you. Now, if because I hear everything you're saying, I get it, but but to be honest with you, I really do not understand why in this 21st century, 2025, why people cannot ranch their cattle. Many countries, Ghana had the same problem. Ghana had exactly the same problem we had, where farmers were killed and murdered as a result of conflict between nomadic people and settled people, and they made a law. Keep your cattle in your place, feed your cattle in your ranch, and that problem has almost been solved. Like, it's, even if it still exists in Ghana, it must be like, almost non-existent. And so many other successful uh, stories we can say. Even in Senegal, where we have even larger amount of Fulanis, they are not. They have this problem, but not in this form, because people there, at least, they ranch their cattle. So I really don't understand why anyone who actually wants to solve this problem would not really encourage the farmers, because cattle rearers are farmers as well. They belong to the agricultural food industry. Okay, I want to ask, if I have pigs and then I start rearing them, like in your farm, uh, you know, I take them from wherever I come from, and then you don't even know me, you've not seen me before, and you see these pigs walking, eating voraciously whatever you have, and all of this. Like, wouldn't you find it problematic? Because this is my own, to you, this is my own private business. Why am I using my private business to interfere in your own business? So this is the story of the farmers and the herders. So if we are honest, of course, we can. The government in Nigeria is useless. These are stupid fools. But there's something we cannot all agree on, that there is a problem. Herders and farmers clash as a result of the herders taking their cattle along the farms, or whether passing or whatever, and as a result of this clash, people die, and not just one or two people, thousands of people. So if anybody values human life or is sincere, I think the solution is very simple. You can ask the farmers to ranch their cattle, and the government can provide, like, can support them, because government can actually support businesses. So instead of using money to do some stupid things, they can support the ranches by helping the farmers to maybe import whatever thing that can help them. And if they must use the natural means, as you say, uh, we can have a strong union. Like, we know exactly who are the headers. There is a 100% union of registered members, and there is a gazetted route that they must follow, severely monitored. And if they cross onto farmers, which in whichever part of the country it is, this is the amount you have to pay the farmer for damages. Like, this will be encoded in laws. If we are not talking of this, then it's just people. It's just a waste of time, and then I have no other uh, option than to say, well, maybe these people actually want to murder these people, because I really don't know why people are taking their cattle into other people's farm. Do you understand what that's the way I see it?
Yeah,
Dexy.
Dexy, we can move the mic now. Budget. You have been here for close to an hour.
All right now.
All right,
It's
now.
okay.
It's okay. Okay, realist. Realist.
All right. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm driving, so you might be hearing noise on the highway. Thank you so much, School.
Grandmaster greeting, hustling. So, Mr. Budget, me, I listen to you very carefully. Me, I don't understand how you are presenting this thing. You say you are not a Fulani man, but your argument seems like you are in favor of this whole, let's give them land, this thing, this thing. I'm not in support of it. There is no land anywhere, not even for human being. You are talking about cow. We that we don't have land. You are saying, oh, let's land. They should take care of their private business. It is what it is. I care about Python, where I come from. Okay. I don't care about cow. So they should take care of their own business. They should stop threatening people, traumatizing people. This is all I have to say to you.
All right, can I go now?
Okay, I thought you wanted me to reply him. All right, no problem.
Can I go now?
Yeah, realist, you can go.
All right. The reason why I actually came up was because of budget. Just like what Digital said, he spoke, he said so many things, and so many things he said I agree with. But at the end of it, he still spoke in support of the header and what is going on. And I'm going to speak from my experience dealing with my experience and training with tactical force and terrorism and counter-terrorism. And you see, if you want to handle issues, he said something about we need to go in and flush the forest, right? If that is the exact word you use. But then you're still saying we need to flush the forest. But the people we need to start with, we don't have to touch them. They are not a problem. Now you accept the fact that there are some foreigners who pretend to be these people, and they go into the forest and they carry out these atrocities, claiming to be the Fulani headsmen. Not like there are not bad people among them, but most of these crimes committed were not done by the Fulani headsmen. Now we are saying one of the solutions. There are solutions to handle issues, and one of the solution is okay. You know what? Let's take these people off the forest, which is building ranches for them. Let's take these people off the forest so that we can flush the forest. Because you need to take them, you need to identify, okay, these are the headers. They are not our problem. Take them off. Give them ranches. It doesn't matter what part of the country. Ranches can be anywhere in the east, in the south, in the west, in the north, anywhere. But let's know that this is ranches. This is where the Fulani headers. This is where they stay with their cows, right? But now you're saying, no, don't take them out. So how then do we flush the forest if we don't take them out? Because it's when you take them out, then whoever is in the forest is the problem. Because you don't want to mix them up. You need to take the good ones out so that you know when you're flushing the forest, whoever remains in the forest are the bad people. I don't know. You said you've traveled a lot, around Nigeria. I don't know if you've traveled outside Nigeria, but I don't think there's any developed country where this is even a discussion, where you see cows moving around and now you're not even thinking about the dangers. What about the health implication? These cows, they move around, they poo on the road, they mess, everywhere is smelling. You're not even thinking about the hailing. People are hailing their shit. You're not even thinking about the health implication. It's not just destroying the food. How about the health implications when they move around and they shit everywhere? People are stepping on it. People are marching on it, taking it to their home. Like, all these things are health implications too. Or is it because Nigeria we don't have a good health system where you can actually identify what is wrong with people? I barely lived in the east. But when my grandmother was alive, I remember one certain time I traveled to the village. She was a farmer. I traveled to the village, and when I got to the village, my second day in the village, like those cows, like they move in groups. Oh my God, they move in thousands. And when it's not like they are moving in this one, they are moving on road, side road, and they were pulling, like everywhere was just smelling. And people were stepping on cars, were driving, people were stepping on it. Like, apart from even destroy, like, how about the health implication? I don't think the stage we are now in Nigeria, this shouldn't even be an issue. This shouldn't even be a discussion. We just need to take these people off the bush so that we know that whoever remains in the bush is the problem. And that is how we can flush them out. Because when you build ranches for them, they know, okay, Fulanis are no longer in the bush. So whoever is in the bush, you know what you're looking for. So all we need to do, the first step to tackle this issue is to build ranches for them. Let's build ranches. You know, you talked about IPOP. How did even IPOP, the IPOP, the ones that were fighting agitation against the killings happening? So if you want to handle issue, let's start from the root cause. Let's take away all. And that is why when you see when this IPOP thing, you see Igbos, including myself, we all came and we spoke up. No, we need to stop this rubbish. Because a lot of people took advantage of IPOP agitators. A lot of
Am I the only one that can't hear him?
Yeah, let's go to top flight.
Let me
Let me
reply him.
reply him. Yeah, you respond after top flight has gone now. There are not much people here. Top flight, go on. Top flight, you raise your hand, you can go. That is kind of people. So budget, you can go.
Okay. See, for someone that I would have loved to have engaged him because he said he has an idea on counter-terrorism and all that. And if you are saying, okay, you are taking off the Fulanis, they are your problem. You are taking, or the herdsmen, as it is, from the roads and just ranching them. And those in the villages and in the bushes, you flush them out. Of course, if you flush them, they are coming into the society. How do you handle that? But you see, the security structure we designed for the government, before you even talk of flushing them, you have to first bring security down to the grassroots. Let me even speak on that so that we can maybe understand how a better solution will come about. We have told the government security down to the grassroots, down to the villages, so that there is no way whereby someone comes into any village and there is no security on ground to either repel any disturbances or curb any disturbances or even any attack by any person or group of persons. That is one. Two, we have to have a secured, unified network whereby if there is an attack in a village, now the surrounding villages are aware, the surrounding local governments are aware, the states surrounding that states they are aware, and the other states across the country are aware. This is a unified system. This way, we don't need to waste resources in attacking or neutralizing any threats, criminals, or terrorist elements across Nigeria. It will give you a pinpoint of this is where it is happening, this is where the distress is coming, this is where we need to attack. Information is and technology comes into play. In this 21st century, I don't know why we are still having a security structure that is analog and all that. That aside, number three, you see this issue of if you want to just force all of them into because these are I've met if you remember when I've gone hunting in this country in many bushes. I have lived with hunters. I've lived with these people to also understand their way of life and how they survive in this uh, Nigeria that is not working for all of us. I've lived with Igbos. I know the values Igbos attach to what they attach. The Yorubas, I know. The Igbos, the Hausas, these things. So I've tried to understand all these cultures, all our people, native man, the Bari from down south, down north, deep north, the Kabaman, and all. So you must understand this thing. I'm not saying that ranching is bad completely. No. But what I'm saying is there should be a choice. And they should, if the country is secured and we have a structure that is secured, then that choice is left for them to take. You want to ranch. You want to move around, but these are the rules and regulations. These are the things that this is what you cannot do. This is what you cannot pass. This is. I'm not saying all of them, all the Fulani herdsmen, that this thing must come into the city and all that. And as this one said earlier, to come and be shitting or polluting his area. You know, this is why you have a government. Rules that will govern the people, rules that will bring about growth, development, and prosperity for the people. And I also gave you an instance. Nigerian cows are one of the best nutrient dense cows in the listing because of the distance they get. It's not all these cows that they are being kept in one place, just fed with nonsense food, non-organic food, so that they just grow big in a certain period and they are being slaughtered. That is an advantage and a market we can explore in the world market. In the world market today, anywhere you go, for those that have been across the world, will know that all developed countries today, there are preferences for organic foods more than all these nonsense genetically modified or overgrown foods. So that is something that will bring us more money. So why eradicate those that are predominantly even into it? So it's all boils down to the failure of the government to utilize what they have, just as they are not utilizing our oil, just as they are not utilizing our natural resources, just as they are not utilizing all these things boils down to that. There is no way, no country, and in Nigeria, we want a Nigeria that works, that it should be acceptable to kill anybody, to hurt anybody, or to trample on the rights of any Nigerian. These are basic things that can be done. Back to that security structure I was talking about. Once you can secure all the villages and all that, there are people on ground, not just information. Someone talked earlier and was, I think, in the last space that ended, not this one, and said that bombs were being thrown at some people at the southeast and all that. Come and see how many people have been killed in the northern part of this country with bombs from nowhere. And these are part of the things that this security structure we have designed for the government will solve. Because you are not going to take up any attack without having information of boots on ground. Anybody that has dealt with terrorism knows this. Across the world, that is how they always try to get boots on ground. Only countries that are just out to cause chaos and just kill indiscriminately, just bomb places without taking account of whoever is going to die or whoever will not die. So these are things that by now we have the resources. Anybody that tells you Nigeria is poor does not know his country. But these resources are being looted by a minority few that have made it like it is their inheritance. But these resources we have in this country, it belongs to Nigerians, not to a particular person or some particular group of people. So if you have that unified system, you call out anybody in the bush, 24 hours. If you're in the bush, you come out. Anybody that does not come out when you flush, that person should be eradicated because automatically you are the enemy of the people. Whoever will go back into those bushes after the flushing will have identification. You are this person, these are the amount of cars you have, this is that. These are the rules. If you are going this thing, you don't encroach into this, you don't encroach. If you encroach this thing, you have your ID card. There are security forces down to the villages. The security is down to the village. You are being identified, then you are being made to pay whatever damage you have made. So if you have a government that has failed to create a system that works for its people, rather you prefer to blame. It's easier to blame your fellow oppressed citizen, because in as much as you are a victim, they are also victims. And we must understand this. We are all victims in this country. The citizens are all victims of bad governance, victims of leaders that do not care for the interests of the country and the citizens. So I will never be in support of anybody killing another Nigerian. In fact, it should be an abomination shedding the blood of any Nigerian whatsoever. And anybody that does that should be made accountable for his action, should know that there are consequences. Consequences will definitely follow up. But we must make sure we don't forget to hold the government accountable for what they are supposed to do.
Okay, well, very quickly, Mr. Budget. You know, uh, top light. I think your stuff is your.
Yeah, yeah,
You want to
yeah.
speak?
I'm here. I want
Okay, just
to come in.
give me
Hello?
1 minute. You go. You go ahead. Just 1 minute, please.
Can I, can I talk?
Yeah, I said just give me 1 minute,
Hello?
then you will say whatever you want to say. Okay? Can you?
Okay, can I speak now?
You I don't even think.
Hello?
I said, can you give me 1 minute? Then you can go ahead. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm requesting your indulgence. Just give me a minute, then you go ahead. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Budget. I think your idea. I agree with some of them. Like if oh, mister, your mic is on.
Hear me?
Yes, your mic is on. Yeah.
Stoplight, your mic is hot.
Okay. So the reason why people feel like there is something sinister going on is that um the Nigerian government sometimes, as I agree with you, even the Fulanis, some of the headers are also victims in this, which is even the reason why they created the militia in the first place, because they were cattle rustling and all of that. And unfortunately, this militia went out of hand, and it's now a big problem. But the reason why people feel that there is a sinister plot going on is that when these clashes happen, uh, the former president Buhari, he's a disaster according to me, my personal opinion. Um, he he said to the people, well,
It's not your personal opinion. He was a failure.
okay,
Please say it as it
okay,
is.
okay. So he said to the people, these are your fellow Nigerians. You must live with them. This guy never went out to formulate any good policy on how to tackle this problem, and he was just looking and you know, allowing the thing to snowball into a disaster. And when the reprisal attacks now happen, he will now, say something. When people complain, he will say, "No, these are Fulanis from Mali, from Mauritania." Okay, set up a policy so that we can deal with this. No, so people now felt that, well, this is a plot. We complain to you, you refuse to do something, and when we clash with these people, you now come to protect them. So, that kind of feeling. So, I agree with you. The first step is I'm not optimistic anyway. This is Nigeria. First step is to withdraw people from the bushes and say, well, we have a problem. To admit we have a problem. uh, Criminals have taken over our bushes uh, in disguise of whatever, maybe disguising as herdsmen or whatever. We accept that this is a problem. We'll withdraw legitimate headers from the bush, support them by camping them and providing them. The government can do this. The money they waste in building houses for the vice president and all of these useless things they do, some of that money can be used to camp headers till we restructure that organization and know the actual people who are into this business and all of that, and find a way to do it, right? So I agree with some of that thing you say, but the what I'm just saying is that when people see the way some of uh, the government reacts sometimes. They, in their mind, they think that there is a sinister reaction. There is something going on. That's why the government don't want to address that. That's what the people are feeling, and this is why sometimes they take laws into their own hands. Um, so anyway, go ahead. The one top lights. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right, Dexy. It all boils down to the failure of the government. It's as clear as simple as that. Buhari, Buhari, under his tenure as president, many people died in Katsina than ever in the history of this country. So please say it as it is. He was a failure. Under the Buhari government,
Hello?
security spread across the north. He was a failure. So please, let's not sugarcoat things for them. Yeah, go on top
Okay,
light.
okay. I agree to all my people, I agree to all. You see, we have a very big problem in this side of Africa. Very big one. Sometimes you have a land or resources. You, if you don't know the value of what you have, your country can be hijacked. Your state can be hijacked, cornered, taken. So I love. I was with you 2 hours ago. I had you ask a guy a question when people were talking about this system, and all that. Every time this system, it's true. This system. So you now ask him, when did this system started? When did this problem started? So I don't hear what the guy answered because he like I have a network issue here. So that's a very good question. When did this system come in? When did this system started? Because some issues can be solved except you know when the the cause and when it started. So you know how to solve the issues because we have problem at hand and we need to solve it. That's why some we are bringing ideas of herdsmen, try to enhance herdsmen and all that. Do you think that is the problem? That's why I don't take some people, some of us serious, like people like Lasowori, and then they're calling for they're going for revolution at hand. They're going for revolution. You don't call for revolution. When you speak out, people will be motivated to act. When you speak, people will raise from the dead. People will come out of bondage, and they'll fight for their right. It's by truth. When truth, prevail in people's hearts through media, when they're positively informed about what's happening, they'll be ginger. Bible says it is now that when the dead we hear the voice of.
I think top light network is off. Or am I the only person not hearing him?
Yeah, I think so. I cannot hear him as well. Mr. Toplight, we cannot hear you anymore.
Anyway, sorry guys, I've exhausted my time here, and hopefully we'll get to meet and discuss on our country more in the future. But us, the people I see here, as long as we are ready to actually face what is, the problem we deal with, the future of Nigeria is in our hands. If you are looking to the people in government today to solve your problem, you are not ready. Everybody here has a role to play, and everybody must play a role to get us to that position whereby we have a Nigeria that works for all of us. Thank you, and see you another time.
Alfonso, you still there? Um,
Okay, I feel like we'll close the space. All right. Anyone that thank you for joining. I wanted to even say something, but it should be another day.